Good morning. I am Pallavi from CSC department, working as assistant professor. And today I am going to discuss about control statements in OOPS through Java. And the topics which I am going to discuss in this video is control statements. That is selection statements, iteration statements, and jump statements. And next concept is typecasting. And what do you mean by control statements? Control statements in Java are essential programming constructs that manage the flow of execution of a program. They enable the developer or the programmer to implement decision making and repeat the task and alter the sequence of execution based on the specific condition. Instead of simply running the code from top to bottom or bottom to top, it is checking the condition or the iteration or any other sequence based on the conditions which we are specifying. And control statements have been broadly classified into three categories, that is selection statements, iteration statements, and jump statements. And selection statements, we are having five types, that is the if, and next if else, and nested if else if, and the switch. These five category of statements comes under the category of selection statements. And next type of control statements are the iteration statements, that is while, do while, and for loop. And jump statements, that is the break, continue, and return. So Java, these are the topics which we are going to discuss in detail in today's session. That is, Java control statements have been categorized into three categories, that is the selection statements, iteration statements, and the jump statements. Selection statements, we are having if else, nested if else if, and the switch. Iteration statements comes under while, do while, and the for loop. Jump statements contains break, continue, and the return. And first let us discuss about the if statement. This is the most basic and the first statement among all the control flow execution statements in Java. It evaluates a Boolean expression and enables the program to enter a block of the code if the expression evaluates to be true. That is, if the condition in this if statements, we are checking the condition. If the condition statement satisfies, that is, it is true, then it enters or loop enters into the if loop, or it executes the if code. If the condition is not satisfied, that means it executes as false, then it comes out of the loop. It will not execute the if statement code. That is, let us imagine condition, checking the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes or goes into the if code. If the condition is false, let us imagine condition is not satisfied, directly it comes out of the loop. And let us see one example based on the if statement. That is public class, and the name of the class is if example. And we are writing the main method, that is public static void main string args, and let us declare a variable with the name age, and the data type of the variable is declared as int. So int age equal to 20. And this I want to check whether the age is greater than 18 or not. So I have written, or we have written the code, that is to check the condition, that is if age value greater than 18, then the statement what we have written inside the if code is system.out.println age is greater than 18. So here, if the condition satisfies, what is the value of the age in our program? We have declared is as 20. So checking the condition, age greater than or equal to 18. So 20 is greater than 18. Condition is satisfied. That is, it is true. If it is true, it enters inside the if block, that is system.out.println age is greater than 18 will be printed as the output. If, let us imagine, I have declared age value as, instead of 20, I have given as 8. So next statement is checking the condition. If 8 greater than 18, is it the condition true? No, it is false. If the condition is false, then it is not entering into the if block, directly comes out of the block and ends the program. So that is the difference between if utilization of the if block. So here, uh, to check the alternative statement also. In the if statement, we are not having any alternate statement. Just we are checking the condition. If it is true, executes the if block. If it is false, comes out of the program. That is the simple if. And let us discuss about next type of selection statement, that is the if else statement. It also works just like our previous statement, that is the if statement, but here we have given the alternate statement, that is if the condition is true, it enters into the if block. The statement present inside the if block will be executed, and if the condition is false, it enters to the alternate case, that is the else block. Whereas in our simple if, there is no else block, but here there are two blocks, that is the if and the else. Let us see. If the condition is true, if the condition is true, it enters into the if code block and executes the statement. If the condition is false, it goes to the else block and executes the code present inside the else block and comes out of the loop. Means either any one of the statement is going to be executed in our if else. Whereas in if it is true, it executes the code present inside the if block. If it is false, there will be no output. Whereas means simply coming out of the loop. Whereas in if else, we are having two conditions. First one, if the condition is true, then it enters inside the if block and displays the statement of the if block. If the condition is false, means reverse of the if condition, then it comes out of the, it executes the else code present inside the if else code and then comes out of the program. Let us see one simple example to check whether a given number is even or odd. I want to write a program using Java syntax to check whether a given number is even or odd. So just public class if else example, and class name can be anything. We can give any name, and public static void main string args. Here I want to define a variable and declare the value to the variable. So int number equal to 13 means value of the variable number is 13 and this number is the variable and int is the data type of the variable. I want to check whether the given number is even or odd. So how I have to check? The condition is number should be modulus by 2, then the value or the remainder should be 0. We all know that when we are performing the modulus operation, output is going to be considered as the remainder. Remainder will be considered as the output of that particular operation. So if number modulus 2 double equal to 0, if the number is exactly divisible by 2, then we can say that number as the even. So inside the if block, I have written the statement system.out.println even number. Okay. So if the condition is satisfied, if it is true, then enters into the if block and gives the output as even number. And else means if it is not true, means reverse or alternate. If the condition is not satisfied, remainder is 1 or any other value except 0. So in that case, it will not enter into the if block, directly comes to the else block and displays the output system.out.println odd number. So here it is going to be performing. Means if the condition is satisfied, it is displaying the output as even number. If the condition is not satisfied, it displays the output as odd number. Means any one of the code is going to be executed. So let us see, here number is 13. 13 modulus 2 double equal to 0. Condition I am checking. Is it true? No. Remainder will be 1. So in that case, output is condition is false. It is not satisfying. Then instead of entering into the if block, it enters into the else block. So in the else block, what it is displaying? Odd number. So output will be odd number. Or let us imagine, instead of 13, I have taken 12 as the number. So 12 modulus 2 double equal to 0. Condition is true. So in this case, when the condition is true, which loop it has to enter? If block. So system.out.println, it displays even number as the output. So this is the thing. Means if the condition is true or false, one statement is going to be executed compulsory. And next thing is the nested if statement. So the nested if statement represents if block within another if, means nested if inside another if block. And here the inner if block condition executes only when the outer if block condition is true. Means first, if the outer block is true, for example, let us imagine I am having three if blocks, if, and next if. So to check the condition, if the first if is true, then only it enters into the second if. If it is also true, then only enters to the third if. So either for then this is the nested if. That's why we are saying that inner if block condition executes only when outer if block condition is true. So here, if the inner two blocks are true, but the outer block is false, it will not enter into the inner if blocks. Means directly it will give the output as false. So here comes out of the loop. So let us see the example or syntax. If condition. First I have written the condition. If the condition of the first if is true, it enters into the inner if code. And if it is also having one condition. If it is also true, then only it enters into the another inner block. But that is the sequence of the execution of the nested if. Let us imagine the case where the first condition itself is false, then comes out of the program directly. Or let us imagine another case where the first block is true and it enters into the second condition, but here it is false, then comes out of the loop. Means if all the outer blocks are true, then only it enters into the inner blocks and executes the code. And let us discuss one example related to the nested if. And this we are going to use when we are having multiple conditions to be verified. For example, nested if statement, here we want to check if the age is greater than 18 and weight is greater than 50. If these two conditions are satisfied, then only that particular person is eligible to donate the blood. Means here we have to check two conditions, that is the age and weight. So when we want to check more than one condition to be satisfied, we can go with a nested if statement. So public class Java nested if example and public static void main string args and creating the two variables that are age and weight. So here int age equal to 20. 20 is the value of the age and age is the name of the variable and int is the data type of the variable. And in the same way, I am declaring another variable known as weight, that is int weight equal to 80. So here, if age greater than or equal to 18, after declaring the variables, we are checking the condition on age and weight. If the two conditions are satisfied, then only it is going to execute the statement. If any one of the condition is not satisfied, comes out of the program. So here, if age greater than or equal to 18, if this is satisfied, then only it enters into the second loop. That is, if weight greater than 50, if it is also true, then it enters into the if block, that is system.out.println, you are eligible to donate the blood. This is going to be printed as the output on the screen. And let us imagine the situation. This condition is true, but this is false. Then comes out of the loop. No output is going to be displayed. And let us imagine another case. This is false, directly comes out of the program. If it is true, enters to the second condition and checks the condition. If it is true, then displays the output. But first condition is true and second one is false, then comes out of the program. And first itself is a false, then entire output is not going to be displayed, comes out of our entire program and executes the output as false. And next, switch statement. Switch statement, and this switch statement executes one statement from multiple set of conditions. When we are having multiple conditions, one statement has to be executed. It is like if else if ladder statement. So here syntax is switch, give the expression and write all the cases. Among these multiple cases, any one of the case is going to be satisfied with the given condition. For example, case value 1. If it is satisfying, then it is going to display this code. And break. This statement break is going to be optional, and if we are writing, it will stop executing here and goes to the. If we are not writing, it is also no problem. This is the optional statement. And case value 2. And if the condition is satisfied here, then it executes this code. If it is not satisfied, then enters to the next block. And in the given set of cases, our expression or the condition is not satisfied with any of the given case, then it goes for the default. Means if all the cases are not matched, if any one of the case is not suitable with the given expression or the condition, then it is going to be executing default case. Means at least one condition is not satisfied with the given expression, then it is going to display or give the output of the default statement. For example, let us say start, and then we have written the expression and checking with the case 1. If the case 1 is matched with the expression, then statement 1 is going to be executed and break will be given and coming end of the program. And if it is not matched, means case 1 is not matched with the given expression or the condition, then checking with the case 2. If it is matched, then executes the statement 2 and break. If it is, let us imagine the other case. If it is not matched, unmatched, so then it enters to the next case. Like that, n number of cases it is going to check. If it is not matching with any of the cases, then directly goes to the default statement and executes the code present inside the default output. So here this is the condition. Means when we are having multiple conditions and one statement has to be executed from the set of statements, then it is better or advised to go for switch statement. So here, if the case 1, we are writing switch and the expression, if the case checking or comparing with the case 1, if the case 1 is matched, it executes the statement related to the case 1. If the case 1 is not matched, going to the next case. And if it is matched, executes the statement related to the case 2. If it is unmatched, goes to the case 3. Like that, n number of cases it is going to verify. And after verifying all the given set of cases and it is not matching with any of the case, then directly it moves to the default statement and prints the output written inside the default. And let us see the example. Public static void main int number equal to 20 and switch expression we are writing switch of number, means switch of 20. It is checking with the case statements. Case 10, system.out.println 10. If it is matching with the case 10, it prints this statement. And break. And if it is not matching, not matched, goes for the next case. Case 20, system.out.println 20 as the output. So here it is matching. Then it prints this statement as the output and comes out of the program. But let us imagine I have given 18 as the number. Checking with all the cases. No case has been matched. Means all the cases are unmatched. So then it goes to the default case statement and prints not in range of 10, 20 or 30. Then this output is going to be printed as the final output on the screen. So this is the case. Means when we are having multiple conditions or cases and any one of the case has to be executed, we have to go with the switch statement. And some of the important rules related to the switch statement are: case values must be constants or literals and of the same type as the switch expression. And duplicate case values are not allowed. That is, in this case, I have given case 10. I can't give another also as case 10. This is wrong. Duplicates are not going to be allowed. And the break statement is used to exit from the current switch block. It is optional and but recommended to prevent some fall through. And the default case is also optional and it executes when the expression is not matching with any of the cases. If it is not at all matching with at least one case, then default statement is going to be executed. And this statement is also optional. That is, if it is not matching, if we have not written default statement, simply coming out of the loop. It is not displaying any output in the screen. So this is the summary of our switch statement. These are if else, nested if and switch are the examples of selection statements. And next thing is iteration statements. So let us discuss. There are three types of iteration statements, that is the while, do while and the for loop. So and for each is also there here and the purpose is only the syntax is going to be changed. So here let us discuss first about while loop. So what do you mean by the iteration? Same code is going to be executed, repeated again and again until the condition becomes false. That is the iterative statement. So first we are going to discuss about the while loop. So the Java while loop is used to iterate a part of the program several times. If the number of iterations have not been fixed, we can recommend to use the while loop. If the number of iterations has been fixed, that is, I want to execute the same statement for 10 times, it is better to choose for loop. But if it doesn't know, I may execute the same statement for 2 times or 3 times or 100 times. Means we are uncertainty about the number of times we are executing the same code. In that case, we can go for while loop. So here, let us see the example or the flow chart. If the condition is true, then we are going to execute the statement related to the statement. If the condition is false, coming out of the code. So here let us see the example. While example, public static void main string asks int I equal to 1 and while the condition, I have declared the variable as I equal to 1 of data type integer. And while condition I am writing, while I less than or equal to 10, means if the I value is less than or equal to 10, condition is satisfied, then enter into the system.out.println of I. What is the value of I? 1. So 1 will be printed as the output. Now I plus plus. Now the I value will be 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition true or false? It is true. True means enters to the loop and prints the output as 2. And then I plus plus. Here I value will be now 3. 3 less than or equal to 10. Condition true or false. it is true. Then it enters to the loop and then it prints the output as 3. Next, I value, I plus plus means now the I value will be 4. 4 less than or equal to 10, condition true. If the condition is true, it prints the output 4 as the output. So like that it is going to increase, and I value at some period of time I value is 10. So 10 less than or equal to 10, condition is true, then it prints the statement. So 10 will be printed as the output. If the value, now the I plus plus, now the value will be 11. 11 less than or equal to 10, condition true or false? Here the condition is false, then coming out of the loop. So here, until unless the condition becomes true, it is going to be executing our code. If the condition becomes false, output is going to be not displayed. Means if the condition is false, coming out of the loop and not executing any output on the screen. This is about while loop. If the condition is satisfied, then only it prints the output, and it is going to be repeated until unless condition becomes false. There is no fixed number of times. And next thing is the do while loop. It is also used when we are uncertain about how many times the loop has to be executed, but at least one time the output has to be displayed. In such case, it is better to use do while loop. So while and do while both can be used when we doesn't know how many times the loop has to be repeated. But in do while, first we are executing the statement and then checking the condition. So in this case, at least one output we can expect. Whereas in while, first checking the condition and then displaying the output. So here it is not going to be executed at least once also if the condition is false. That's why while loop can also known as preconditioning loop. Preconditioning loop means first checking the condition and then displaying the output. Whereas do while post condition loop. Post condition loop means first executing the code and then checking the condition. Here it is known as the post condition. So the Java do while loop is used to iterate or repeat a part of the program for several times. If the number of iterations are not fixed, so we must choose to execute the while loop. And at least once I want to execute, whether the condition is true or false, least bothered. At least I want to execute the code for one time. So here, in such case, prefer to use do while loop. And I told you that it is also known as post condition, means first executing the statement and then checking the condition. So let us see the syntax. First do and code to be executed and then checking the condition. So here do statement, it will be executed and then checking the condition. If it is true, going back to the statement. If it is false, coming out of the statement. So here public class do while loop and public static void main int I equal to 1. I have given or declared a variable as I equal to 1. First, it is going to enter into the do while, that is do. Here we are not giving any condition, directly entering into the loop. And what it is printing? System.out.println of I. What is the value of I? 1. 1 will be printed. Next, incrementing the value. Now the I value becomes 2. 2, then it is checking for the condition. 2 less than or equal to 10, condition true. Then it prints the value as 2. And next 3. 3 also checking. And next. So here if the condition is either true or false, it is least bothered. First time it is going to be executed. So whenever we want to execute a program for at least once, we are going to prefer do while loop. Irrespective of the condition, if we are expecting to print a statement for at least once, we can choose the do while loop. And next for loop. So here, and while is going to be used when we doesn't know how many times the loop has to be repeated, and do while is also same case, but at least we want to execute once irrespective of the condition, better to choose for do while. And for loop, when we know how many times that loop has to be repeated, in such cases we can go for or prefer to use the for loop. So here initialization, it is the initial condition which is executed once when the loop starts. Here we can initialize the variable or we can use an already initialized variable. It is the optional condition. And next condition. So here we are checking the condition which is executed each time to test the condition of the loop, and it continues execution until the condition becomes false. And next, if the condition is false, then coming out of the program. Until the condition is true, we can execute the program. And here, next, increment statement. If the condition is true, then we are entering into the statement. So the statement of the loop is going to be executed each time until the second condition is false. Unless this condition becomes false, it is going to be executed. Means if it is false, then it stops execution of the program. And next, fourth one is the increment or decrement. It increments or decrements the variable value, and it is an optional condition. So here, first one, initialization. Second thing is the condition checking, and these two are going to be repeated every time. These two are going to be repeated every time. If the condition is satisfied, then it is going to execute the code, and this is going to be repeated every time, and this will be executed. And again, after executing, this statement is going to be implemented. And if the condition is false, coming out of the loop, means it is not going to be execute any further output. Let us see one simple example related to the for loop. So here I want to print table of 2. Means 2 1s are equal to 2, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. Like that I want to print up to 2 into 10 equal to 20. I want to print the output. So I am writing the program related to this output. So here let us see public class table of 2 and public static void main string args int number equal to 2. Number is the variable, int is the data type, and 2 is the value. So here system.out.println multiplication table of 2. So here it is going to display this as the output, multiplication table of 2. Then loop is going to start from here. For int I equal to 1, I value is 1 and num value is 2. And here I value less than or equal to 10. Condition is satisfied. Then entering into the product. That is int product equal to number, that is 2 into 1. Then system.out.println number plus star plus I, that is 2 star I value is 1. 1 equal to, what is the product here we are getting? 2 as the output. This is the statement. And again I plus plus, that is the 2 value. 2 is less than or equal to 10. Condition is again satisfied. Int product equal to number 2 into, what is the value of I now? 2. 2 into 2. System.out.println number, that is 2 star I value is 2 equal to 4. Like that it is going to print up to 2 into 10 equal to 20. Now I plus plus. Now the I value will become 11. So here 11 less than or equal to 10. This condition it is checking. It will be false. When it is false, coming out of the loop and end of the program. So this is the Means here we are predefined or pre-known with how many times I want to repeat the loop. That is the 10. 10 times I am repeating the same loop, that's statement. That's why we can prefer to use the for loop. And next thing is the third category of statements, that is the jump statements, break, continue, and the return statements. So here break statement is used to break the loop or switch statement. Here it breaks the flow of the program at specified condition. In case of inner loop, it breaks only inner loop. In case of any other condition, means that only that condition is going to be skipped, remaining, or it is going to be break the execution of the program if that condition is not satisfied. For example, public static void main and using for loop int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10. So if the condition is satisfied, if I value, if it is satisfied, then system.out.println of I, 1 will be printed. Next, I plus plus. Now the I value will be 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition is satisfied. 2 double equal to 5. No, it is not satisfied. Then entering 2 will be printed. Next, I plus plus. Now 3. 3 less than or equal to 10. Condition is satisfied. If it is satisfied, and checking for the if condition, 3 double equal to 5. No, it is not satisfied. If it is not satisfied, again prints 3 as the output. Now 4. 4 is also satisfied, but 4 not equal to 5, then executing this statement. And last thing is I plus plus. Now the I value is 5. 5 less than or equal to 10. Condition is true. And 5 double equal to 5. Here also condition is true. Means both the cases are true. Then break. Stop execution of the program. So the output will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. If I have given, instead of I double equal to 5, if I have given 7, 5 and 6 is also going to be printed. So here how the execution is happening, if the inner loop is satisfied, it breaks the inner loop. Okay, it stops executing of our inner block. So if the condition within the loop, it falls, then comes back. If it is true, stop execution of the program. If the inside the inner block, we are having the system.out.println statement. For loop, inside that if block, and then if both the conditions are satisfied, coming out of our loop. And if it is false, printing this statement. And continue. The Java continue statement is used to continue the loop, and it continues the current flow of the program and skips the remaining code at the specified condition. In case of an inner loop, it continues the inner loop only. For example, here just like our previous case, if I have written here break, it is stopping the execution of that program here itself. Means after printing 1, 2, 3, 4, when I becomes 5, 5 double equal to 5, then it stops execution, that is break. This much of output. But in continue, what is happening? Only that particular condition is not going to be executed. Only that particular condition is not going to be, it means it is skipping that particular condition. For example, I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10. Condition satisfied. And then checking for 1 double equal to 5. Condition false. Condition is false. Then printing the output as 1. And next I plus plus. Now the I value will be 2. 2 means 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition is satisfied. 2 double equal to 5. False. Then continue. It is going to print system.out.println. 2 will be printed. I plus plus 3. 3 less than or equal to 10. Condition is true. When it is true, checking the inner loop, that is the if condition. 3 double equal to 5, condition is false. If it is false, continue, that is system.out.println, it is printing 3, like that it is printing. Now I value became 5. 5 less than or equal to 10, condition is true. But 5 double equal to 5, condition is true here also. Then skip that particular thing, means it is going to skip the case and going to execute I plus plus. Now becomes 6. 6 less than or equal to 10. 6 not double equal to 5, condition is false. Now it is going to print 6, means it is skipping the, if the condition is true, skips that particular statement, skips the statement. Whereas in break, if the condition is true, terminating of the program. Whereas in continue, only that particular condition statement is going to be skipped and remaining is going to be continued until unless the condition becomes false. And return keyword. So here Java return keyword is used to complete the execution of a program, and the return followed by the appropriate value that is going to be returned to the caller, and this value depends on the method return type. Like that method always return an integer value. And what are the points we need to remember when we are writing a program with the return is, it is used to execute from the method, and it is not allowed to use return keyword in void method. Means if you are writing a method with the void method name, then return type should not be there. The value passed with the return keyword must match with the return type of the method. Means the data type of the output and the value declaration should be of the same type. For example, public class return type test. So here public int add, the name of the method is add, and this is the data type. And what are the arguments or the parameters we are giving? Int x and int y with arg. And next I want to perform int z equal to x plus y, means the sum of x and y should be placed inside the z, then return the z value. So public static void main method we are writing, and return type test. Create the object creation, that is return type test is the class name and test is the object name, equal to new return type test, means object has been created. So int add means we are calling this method int add equal to test dot add, means we are in Java we all know that we need to call any method or anything with the help of object only. Test dot add. What are the arguments we are giving? Two integer values, x value and the y value. Now system.out.println, the sum of x and y is plus add. What is the value inside here? 10 plus 20 equal to 30. So the output will be the sum of x and y is 30 will be the output. So here it is going to return the output related to the method which we are declared in our program. And when to use which loop is going to be given. Condition and the best statement. If there is only one condition, better to choose if condition or if statement. And if you are having two statements, either true or false, better to go for if else. And multiple conditions, else if ladder or switch. And check the same variable for multiple values, go with the switch. And if we doesn't know how many number of times the loop has to be repeated, go for while. And we doesn't know number of times how many times the loop has to be repeated, but at least one time it has to execute, at least once it has to execute, then it has better to go for do while. If we know the number of times the loop has to be repeated, then for loop. And next topic is typecasting or conversion of one data type into another data type. Typecasting is a method or process that converts one data type into another data type, and it can be done in two ways or both ways, that is manually and automatically. The automatic conversion is done by the compiler itself. Automatically it is going to be done, whereas the manual conversion has to be done by the programmer. And narrowing, and we are calling two types of casting, that is the narrowing typecasting or widening typecasting, or implicit or the explicit typecasting. So widening typecasting means from the small data type or lower data type to the larger data type, means we are converting a value of lower data type into the higher data type, then we are calling it as the widening data type. And converting a lower data type into a higher one is called as widening, and it is also known as implicit conversion, that is going to be done automatically and it is done by the compiler itself. For example, byte I want to convert to the short, then char, int, long, float, double. That means from the lower to higher we are converting. Then it is known as the widening or implicit, and it is going to be done automatically by the compiler itself. Whereas narrowing typecasting, converting the higher data type into lower data type, is called as narrowing casting, and it is also known as explicit conversion or casting up, means we are increasing the higher to the lower is called narrowing, means we are specifying it as the explicit type of conversion, and it has to be done by the programmer or developer. Means let us see double, we are changing its data type to float, means from higher to lower, and float to long, long to int, int to char, char to short, short to byte. Means here we are decreasing the size, that is narrowing type. And narrowing is known as explicit, and it has to be performed by the programmer. Programmer has to do it, but here it is going to be handled by the compiler automatically. And let us see one example related to the widening cast. So in widening, lower to higher data type, lower to higher. So public class widening typecasting example, public static void main, and here int x equal to 7 and int x equal to 7, and automatically I want to convert the integer type to the float, means from lower data type to the higher data type. So long y equal to x, and x value I want to convert to the float. So float z equal to y. System dot out dot before conversion int value. What is the int value here? 7. 7 will be printed as the output. And next what I am doing? Long y. Y equal to, what is the value of x? 7. So here 7. Means now the value after conversion, long value is 7. 7 will be printed. And next float z equal to y. System dot out dot print. After conversion means into long, long to float, means we are increasing. Now the float after conversion, how it is going to be displayed? 7 0. So this is the output for last thing. So this is the output and this is related to here. So these are going to be the widening typecasting, and it will be done automatically. We are not writing any parse in method or any casting statement in our program. It will be done automatically by the compiler itself. And next thing, narrowing casting program, means from higher to lower data type. We want to decrease its size. So here float amount equal to 10.80. This is the float value. And here system.out.println before narrow cast plus amount. What will be the output? This value. 10.80 will be the output. But I want to convert this into integer. Means float value I want to convert to int. So here int return balance, any variable equal to which data type I want to convert? Integer. So specify integer, and what value I want to convert? Amount. So specify the amount. So here after narrow cast return balance. So here what is present? Instead of 10.80, it will print only 10. Means after decimal, the value is going to be lost. So from whenever we are changing from higher data type to lower data type, there is the chance of losing of some data. So narrowing typecasting, and it has to be done by the programmer explicitly with the help of some methods or by using the parsing type. And these are the references used to refer the concepts which we have discussed till now. And thank you.